Afternoon guys, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. It is Saturday afternoon. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 2:53 p.m.
So it's 2:53. I haven't done another video since the last one this morning because I felt very tired. It's about 24 degrees in this flat. It's very hot. I've had 3 fans on and it just gets unbearable, and I have managed to take Max out for a walk by myself this afternoon. I've actually just come back from walking him. What can I say? Right, so what's been going on? Not a lot really. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've been watching. I think it's Just Eat or something like that. I've been watching a guy going around on an electric bike delivering food to people from KFC and all that kind of thing in London. Very interesting. I've been watching that. I've been listening to music videos, Imagine Dragons, and I've just been trying to just spend my time like I normally do, by myself. I haven't got annoyed, I haven't shouted, I haven't done anything bad, and I decided to take Max out as usual, even though I was feeling tired. So around 2 o'clock I took Max out for a walk on the Rochester Riverside Field as normal, like I do every single day. He enjoys it, I enjoy it. I thought it would make me come alive because I thought I was going to fall asleep at one point, and I'm not elderly. I think it's the heat. I'm pretty sure it's the heat, but the British weather. It's hot, but we had just at one point we had an outburst of rain, and it was really heavy. It saturated all the road and the paths and everything. So you've got a choice. Do you go out in your shorts and t-shirt, or do you just like put a jacket on with a hood? What do you do? So I put my waistcoat on because like it protects this area and it's thick, and I carry an umbrella. I've got a spotted umbrella. Spotted. I'll show you. I'm just trying to relax and have peace and quiet in my own home, which everybody is entitled to. Peace and quiet in their own property, without interference, harassment or bullying. Everyone's entitled to that, not just me. And as I've said before, no one should be listening into personal private phone conversations, and nobody should be listening or spying into anyone's flat without permission. That's my umbrella, black spotted umbrella. Because I don't know why guys, but every time I attempt to do a YouTube video, it starts to get noisy outside when it's been quiet. So I start to do a video and then it's like people come out of the flats, kids yelling, someone goes up and down the road screaming. I don't know why. I haven't got a clue. So I have to speak over barking, screaming, whatever, and sometimes it gets annoying, but I try to keep cool because that's me. So in the post there was a dog collar for Max, which he's got on right now, a brown one. So Max has got a brown dog collar on at the moment. So we had a collar for Max. He's wearing his brown collar. I went out of the flats, round the back, straight onto the Rochester Riverside Field, It was quiet. It was quiet. This morning, I was walking back off the field, and there was two builders sat together on a bench, and as I walked past, one of them said, a big large one, said, "It's horrible," and he was looking at a video on a phone. I don't know what it was, because I was just walking past, but he had his phone, obviously YouTube was on, he was watching something, and he went, "It's horrible," as I walked past. It's horrible. Similar thing as to when my father took me to All Hallows, especially to Sainsbury's in Hempstead Valley. That was a lovely place where the staff, I would walk past with the trolley with my dad when he was taking me to All Hallows, and they would go, "It's disgusting." Yes, what was done to me was disgusting. I quite agree. I quite agree with you. I quite agree. So, to me, they're all actors and actresses. This isn't the real world, is it? I'm being treated like I'm 2 years old. And my mum said yesterday that she was going to stop ringing on the phone. And what has my mum done? She rang me. She rang me whilst the lookalike of my father, Derek, was on the field throwing a ball to his dog. Throwing a ball to his dog. Let's hear what my mum had to say, because I didn't actually speak to my mother outside. Because you know when you're on a phone, right? You're talking on the phone and you're talking to someone. You can get run over while you're crossing the road, right? You can get distracted. Also, opportunist thieves, while you're on the phone, can pickpocket you or go down your pockets, handbag, whatever. So I don't like answering the phone when I'm near a road, which I was. 2:34 p.m. It's very nice of my mum to think of me, but what can I really do? What can I do? What can I do if there's trouble but call the police? Or try and ring someone up to help me? What can I do? To me it's mistaken identity. Now if I go into Flirt Finder, which is my ad, we had one more message, which I'm not answering people now. It's obvious it's fake and a wind-up. I'm not bothering. From Funny Feeling 19. Good afternoon. I'm Steve, 52, from Dartford, but I work in Strood. I love cooking and gardening. And this is the guy. This is the guy that wants to speak to me, Crystal. He's called Steve. Steve. So, what am I going to do now? I'm going to have a shower. Because I feel really, really, really hot and a shower cools me down. I'm going to carry on watching YouTube videos, and I'm not going to speak to anybody on the internet anymore. Because it is the same person doing the same things over and over again, and they've tricked me 1,000 times and not anymore. I'd rather talk to my dog, it makes more sense, to be quite honest. What I'm going to show you now is a cactus I got from Mr. Flower, Rochester High Street yesterday, and if anyone tries to go near the window where my cat supposedly fell out of, they're going to have a nasty surprise. This is two cacti, cactus. They're rather big, they're bearded cactus with lots of spikes. So I got these from Mr. Flower, a very nice lady in there, very polite, always puts my flowers and plants in a bag and is professional. Very nice lady, very nice staff in there. Unlike other places which treat me like shit. So that's a bearded cactus, guys. They can actually grow very, very large. I had one when I was married and it went really, really big and long cactus up here. It started off that big and it grew that big. So I love my plants. I love my flowers. I love my plants. I love cactus. I love art and crafts. I love my poetry. And I'm going to immerse myself in my hobbies, which are clean and not dirty. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
And gosh, about 17, 19 years later, and I told him this was we were having a chat about the old days at the radio station. He was asking me why I had left quite suddenly. And it was because of this, in part because of this, because I was being sexually harassed by that station manager and actually by another man at the station who was a friend of his. I just didn't tell anyone, and I've never spoken about it openly. This, I'm chatting to you now, it's the first time I've ever done that. That was years ago, more than 20 years ago. So when people say things like, well, you know, Hermoso didn't speak up at the time, she looked like she's quite enjoying it. If you haven't been put in that position, it's very, very difficult for you to understand how awful it is. How awful it is. And you have this terrible feeling where it's all happening at once, it's scary, you're trying to find an exit route, you don't know if anyone can hear or see what's happening, and it's, you know, fight and flight responses just kick in. So the idea that Hermoso, Jenny Hermoso, should have what? Stood up and done what? Turned to the cameras and said, oh, actually, I didn't give my consent for that. That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. She didn't give her consent. That should have been enough for Rubiales to have turned around and said, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to put you in that position. I didn't mean to make you feel vulnerable. I didn't mean for that to be aggressive. I'm sorry if that's what happened, but that's not what he did. What Rubiales actually did was go on television and say, oh, it's just an outrage. I won't resign. I won't resign. This is a character assassination. I won't do it. It's just pathetic. Anyway, that's what I think. 0345 6060 FIFA have now suspended him for three months, 90 days, pending an investigation. I imagine there's more to come from him in terms of statements. I'd like to know your reaction, and I would like to also ask you, what do you make of it if you have experienced being harassed at work? According to the TUC, in 2023, almost 3 in 5 women 58% were harassed at work. And I know this can happen to men as well, so pick up the phone. 0345 6060973. Leah is in Wandsworth. Hello.
Oh, hello there. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for waiting so long and being so patient.
No problem. So I'm Catalonian. I'm Spanish, and I've just been following what's been happening, not only in the news, but also I have spent the last month in Spain, and I form part of a WhatsApp group, and you know the general opinion is that this has been the last straw. You know, in terms of what happened in Sydney, this man who was actually standing Hermoso next to the underage princess of Spain and the Queen, he's been grabbing the Queen without the King being there present by the waist. He's been next to that underage Princess Sophia. He's been grabbing his testicles throughout the game. We do not know what kind of statement was he trying to make by doing that, just whether it was to the English players in the very, unbelievably rude, but, or was it, we've done that and, in a kind of almost saying that, in a way, it symbolizes that although this is women's football, this is a very manly thing. It was such a bad, way of behaving in front of all those thousands of people. And in the last draw was that he kissed.
Can I ask you something very quickly?
Yeah.
People will call up, and I've seen people calling him to other shows. I've seen other discussions elsewhere, and people saying, well, it's just Spanish culture. Spanish culture is a bit more macho, and that's just what they do there. What would you say to someone who would say that?
Well, I would say that the people who say that they actually right. This is unfortunately and very sadly very much still belonging and enrooted in the Spanish culture, where a man will have a status of superiority and will kind of act as if he was superior at all times. There is something that, sometimes people don't even realize it happens. Boys and girls grow up in the same fashion, but then suddenly when the girls are teenagers, they stop expressing themselves. I am a mother of two daughters. I'm so happy they've grown up. I love my country where I come from. I'm so happy they've grown up here in England. I can't tell you how much difference there is in between that macho culture and how much of a, there's hundreds of women killed by domestic violence in Spain every year. This is actually very serious. The foundation of something that's very, very serious. And you were talking about, has anyone felt this in their personal life? I think all of my friends, and of course I include myself, since we were kids, we have experienced huge amounts of involuntary, unwanted attention, non-stop. We are growing up. I'm 46 years of age. I remember growing up in fear. I remember my mother and, discreetly my father giving me tools on how to dodge or avoid or deflect advances. And I remember having them since I was 12. And this guy, Rubiales, I've seen him in an interview, in a previous interview just 20 years ago. He's one of those. He's someone who believes that a man should be a man and shouldn't be someone who helps the woman, who helps at home, should not be that. He calls them blandengue, which is a Spanish word that means weak. He hates weak man, he says. And
Gosh.
this is the very guy they put on top. The Spanish Football Federation Federation, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, puts this guy on top, or as a director of the federation, next to the Queen, next to the Princess, without the King, and all this display of macho. Actually, when he said, "No, I won't resign," he said it about 6 times. It was actually quite frightening to say, "I won't resign, I won't resign, I won't resign." And everyone started applauding.
What was weird was, can I tell you what was weird, Leah? Is that I watched that clip, and we'll play it a bit later on in this hour, and the women stood up. So everybody in the, so for those that haven't seen the clip, essentially, Rubiales decides to make a statement. He's in front of his colleagues at the Spanish Football Federation. He says, "You're right, Leah, I won't resign, I won't resign, I won't resign." I think 4 or 5 or 6 times. And and then they all stand up. And what was interesting was seeing the women stand up.
Oh yeah, well, if you look at the clip, you'll see that at first, all the women I'm looking at, they all doubting whether they should clap or not. And you see that very few are actually clapping. But there are some men clapping loud, and progressively this becomes okay. This is the decision we make. We're just going to be supporting this guy, and we're going to trivialize, which is what unfortunately still the Spanish society is doing. They must, a lot of people, far too many, are trivializing this very episode. That's so grave. It should have been, as the lady that called before, penalized straight away, because it's sexual abuse, and it comes from a position of he's her superior of Jennifer Hermoso.
It is power. The problem here is the power imbalance, the fact he did it publicly, and the fact that he couldn't apologise. Liran Wansworth, thank you very much indeed, a Spanish national living in this country, saying this is not, even if it is Spanish culture, the problem is the culture. My question to you this hour, FIFA has decided to suspend Luis Rubiales after his behaviour with a female Spanish footballer, grabbing her and kissing her without her consent. She has said she did not want this to happen. What's your reaction to that? But I also want your stories of having been in the workplace and being harassed. What happened? 0345 6060 973. I'm Sangeeta Maiska. This is LBC.